Why does everyone else seem ahead while you feel stuck? Like, was there a class on building your life and you just missed it? If you've ever scrolled highlight reels and quietly asked yourself, am I falling behind? Let me tell you straight, you're not behind, you're just unbuilt. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that matters more than you think. In this video, we're going to dive into what drifting really looks like for men in their 20s. My name's Thorpe, and as a young man in his 20s, I have struggled to navigate my life day by day because I've struggled with feeling lost, numb, and directionless. But from slowly getting out of my own way, I am no longer fully attached to the prepubescent, curly-haired type ball of insecurity that I was at the start of my 20s. I am now 24 and am on a mission to help 10 million men in their 20s who feel like they are drifting through their defining decade by becoming the architects of their own lives. You're not behind. You're not behind, you're just early in the build. And the reason why I'm saying this is because most of the time we compare our chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 10 and wonder why we fall behind. But here's what I've learned. Lost isn't failure. What a lot of men in their 20s really mix up and confuse themselves around, because again, when you don't know the difference between lost and failure, it's easy to relate themselves to each other. Failure implies a negative outcome or a lack of success. While the feeling of loss can be blurred into the lines of feeling like a failure, lost has its own set of structures and values. Feeling lost is a temporary state or a detour from where you originally wanted to go, right? So this feeling of lost is an opportunity. While loss can be blurred into the lines of failure, it is a completely different state. And these are some examples of why loss can feel like failure, right? So lost in identity. So I don't know who I am without the mask. Lost in purpose. What's the point of all this? Lost in direction. I don't know where I'm going. I'm lost in emotion. I feel numb, but I don't know why. And you see now the problem with these frames of feeling lost is it's not being seen as an opportunity. It's an obstacle rather than a place of discovery to dive into, to see what you are capable of. It's restraining you from achieving anything in a state of loss. I thought this is where a lot of men in their 20s really limit themselves when it comes to understanding themselves and how to grow, because they just have and live in this one frame of I'm lost, so I can be seen as a failure, I feel like a failure. And it's not the case at all, brother. And now I'm going to show you some examples of the reframing that every man needs to hear in their 20s when it comes to loss, right? So lost in identity, I'm going to go through the same 4 again. I don't know who I am without the mask, but I'm finally done with hiding behind it. I'm ready to find the man underneath. So the first part is I don't know who I am without the mask, and that's it. And then a lot of men in their 20s, and I have been so guilty of this, of just cutting myself short of my potential by living in this pessimistic mentality and negative mind. And it's so easy to drop into because you feel so hopeless, you feel lost, you feel like a failure in many, many ways. And without having a mentor or male role model figure or friends to tell you and show you that you are not just the voices that got in your head of saying you're a failure and that you're limiting, right? You're giving yourself a ceiling by saying this to yourself. And by not having the people around you to say, no, you're not, you're worthy of more. Unfortunately, you'll be stuck in that mindset without having that. You need to find people around you who are willing to be in your corner and telling you that you may feel like this, but you're finally done with hiding behind it. I'm ready to find the man underneath this hopelessness, right? So another one. I don't know why I'm doing all of this, but I'm done running on autopilot. I'm ready to find my reason, right? Just powerful shit. And all it is a simple reframe of, I'm going to use a gym analogy, right? So you're going for a PR, it's test week, right? You're wanting to rack this 100 kilo bench press. You're nearly there, right? You build up to 90 kilos, right? Do 1 rep at 90, smash it. Then you're ready to bench press the 100 kilos. You have your spot, you're all ready. You get it halfway, this happened to me, get it halfway, and then, but there's just a fucking block there. You can't push harder, you can't push any more into it. So you fail. You know you've got it, but you're not quite there yet. It's that mentality of like not giving in to not having it done or understood yet. You're 1 week away, you're 2 weeks away of understanding and going to the next level. But settling at the point of, oh, I've tried. It's pointless saying, oh, I've tried the 100 kilo bench press, there's no point me fucking trying now. That's the mentality that you're accepting in yourself, brother. You're not worth that. I'm telling you that now for fucking free. You're not worth that. The last one, I swear, the last one. Numb to emotion. I've spent years avoiding how I feel, but I'm ready to sit with it, even if it's uncomfortable. Which is just a revolutionary way of thinking, because you're not allowing life to predict the life that you're telling yourself you deserve. You're not allowing world to dictate your fate. And that could be eventually your fate as your 85-year-old self. You're just regretful of not taking the risks, of not seeing the opportunities, because your mind wasn't in that right place. And it takes work. You have to tell yourself, you have to convince yourself that this is worth me thinking about. So you may feel right now, I've spent years avoiding how I feel and settling for that. And you take that as your truth. You believe that in every ounce of you, that that is all you're worth, is that you spent years avoiding how you feel, so you're just going to carry on doing that for the rest of your life. How is it going out for you? How do you feel? Yeah? Shit, right? So no, don't accept that. But, adding that but, I'm not there yet mentality, but I'm ready to sit with it, even if it's uncomfortable, right? Which every truth is, every challenge, every insecurity that you have right now, there'll be a moment in your life where life will throw at you a challenge, a piece of wisdom to gain, and it's your choice to seize it and take it and grasp it in your fucking hands to say, I'm no longer settling for this weak mindset of feeling a victim to your emotions, feeling a victim to what deck of hands you've been given, right? Deck of cards you've been given, sorry. If someone was to come up to you and say, I've spent years avoiding how I feel, what would you respond? Would you just respond in silence, or would you say that's not probably a good idea to carry on going? And of course, that other person knows it's not a good idea, but they don't know how to, right? But they don't have the curiosity or the willing to be like, oh, but do you know what? I'm sick. I'm sick of just not feeling my emotions. So I'm actually going to journal tonight. So it's having that solution mindset of that positive anchoring, that positive reinforcement to say, well, I may feel like this, but I'm not allowing myself to be in this mindset. And that's a completely different shift. It's two different mindsets of just being like, I spent years avoiding how I feel. So yeah, poor me. The thing is, no one gives a fuck. No one's going to give you sympathy in any way, shape or form. But people will give you empathy. People will listen and be there for you. And that's the difference. Because people don't care. People don't care. Only you will care. And you will care in your 85-year deathbed, let's say. Right? And so you probably live longer than that. But imagine you're in your deathbed and you spent 85 years avoiding how you feel. What sort of life is that? Not experiencing the full wonders of what this universe, of what this life that you'll live, this time in history, what can give you. You can travel an hour and you can go into Eastern Europe. It's ridiculous. You have so much potential and so much adventure at your fingertips. Just go for it, brother. I know you can. Let's go.